recently at one of our woke college campuses who said she is required in every class to introduce herself and to give her pronouns. Well, I'm Ted Cruz, and my pronoun is kiss my ass.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to the Prepared Mind channel. All new subscribers are extra welcome. And if you're on YouTube, Monday through Friday, you can come over and join us live at 4:30 Eastern time every single day. All you have to do is go to thepreparedmind.club, sign up for premium membership. It's only $2 a month. Or subscribestar.com, where it's $2 a month. And you get the same thing, access. We give you 2 ways to get access to the live show every day. And that is how we fund the Prepared Mind channel, is through that. Because, well, there's no more premium anything on YouTube. I'm actually pleased that what I consider to be the message here, the message is still premium. So that's why we are here. Now get this, folks. I want to start by giving you a World War update. Because it's a World War Wednesday. The whole world is at war in every single facet. Military, financially, monetarily, educationally, legally, socially, psychologically. You get the picture. Now, World War III, though, actual war. Russia has made the claim that the cranky bridgehead in the South Kherson Oblast is done. They own it. Put a fork in it, they've won. Well, Ukraine is denying that. Why would Russia, folks, make a claim that isn't true? They have dominated, literally dominated Ukraine. Why would they have to lie? Right? I'm not buying it. Just not buying it. There's no reason for them to lie, because they've been stomping the shit out of the Ukrainian military, which is comprised of either Nazis, little girls with pink bows in their hair, or old men with no teeth. That's their military now. But yeah, expect more lies about the war, the efforts, etc. And let's get over to the other type of war right here in the United States of America. That's right, folks. Voters in Harlem, which is a New York City suburb / burg / borough. Anyways, the voters there are very angry, pissed off, and consider themselves to be betrayed by their Democrat leaders because of the illegal immigrant crisis. Well, the voters there are saying, quote, "It's time for action," end quote. It's time for action, end quote. Democrats, politicians, they better watch the fuck out. Their voters feel betrayed, and that is going to cost them in the ballot box, and it's going to cost them in other ways that cannot be measured. Get ready for that. I can't wait to see that. Now, let's head up to our brethren up north, the Canadians. Are they the 51st or the 52nd state, Mr. Uman? I can't remember who's 51 and who's 52. I know President Obama said, not as a joke, that there are 57 states. Literally, folks. Oh, he's a clean, articulate guy, all right. All right, enough of that shit. In Canada, they have Justin Castro Turd Hole, right? Justin Trudeau, the prime minister. Well, there's an opposition party leader, okay? He's not as powerful as Trudeau, but he is pissed off. His name is Poilievre, one of those Canadian French type dudes. Anyways, he has said, look, Trudeau, your proposed online harms bill is crap. And he says that the prime minister, Justin Turdhole, is a racist. He says he is a hate speech racist for using blackface multiple times. Remember, blackface means dressing up as someone with darker skin than you, and so you use something to darken your skin. Ooh. We now have a bunch of limp-wristed pussies fighting each other. Scratching at each other like little kittens. So we have one weak-ass motherfucker, and maybe he's a strong person. Correct me if I'm wrong. If there's a good Canadian politician who's kicking ass, let me know. But calling Justin Trudeau a hate speech racist does not tickle my scrotum. That's nothing. You need to do a whole lot more than that. Yeah, he's a fucking hypocrite is what he is, and he's a liar and a sack of shit. Right? But calling him a hate speech racist, I don't care if he uses hate speech or not. I couldn't give a shit what Trudeau does as long as he quits violating the Constitution of Canada and violating the rights of Canadians. They ought to impeach his dumb ass and throw him out of office. He is a sack of shit. And speaking of sacks of shit, a bipartisan group of shit sacks from the U.S. Senate in Washington, D.C. decided they've had enough of Viktor Orban and Hungary, because Viktor Orban is the prime minister of Hungary. They've had enough of Viktor Orban and his anti-NATO expansion stuff, trying to keep Ukraine out. So this bipartisan group of U.S. senators, united in their approach, fly over to Hungary. And they want to meet with the Hungarian politicians. And guess what? The Hungarians said, we don't want to talk to you. They refused to meet them. Beautiful. Fucking perfect. The United States senators are un-American assholes. And the Hungarians disrespected their bullshit and their attempt to bully them in their country. Not only is their country not part of the United States, their country is on the other side of Europe, near Russia. It's Eastern Central Europe. It's Hungary. They're just north of Turkey. You would think that if they're hungry, they'd go get some turkey. That's a dad joke. Anyways, I'm glad the Hungarians said, look, you aren't America. You represent the military-industrial complex. You represent neocon war politics. You represent your own bank accounts. Get the fuck out of here. We don't want to see you. Perfect. That sends a message to the rest of the world. Unless the United States is moral, honest, above board, you don't talk to them. Ouch. That was an off the mic sneeze. Okay. Anyways, here we go. Oh, remember Mayorkas? That's right. The leader, the czar of the Department of Homeland Security, jackass Mayorkas. Well, he was impeached in the House of Representatives. So we move along to the Senate trial. An impeachment trial. Didn't I just talk about the U.S. Senate being a bunch of shit sacks? Well, Chuck Schumer is the head of the shit sacks. Because Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, right? He doesn't want to try him. Remember, the Senate doesn't have to hold a trial. They can look at the evidence and say, thanks for the referral. Folks, the Senate is controlled by Schumerites, Democrats, Khazar scumbags, if you want that joke out there. He is a total scumbag. And they will never, ever, ever, folks, move into trial for an impeachment when it's a Democrat who's been impeached. And now you are caught up on how this works. Anyone who's impeached by a Republican House of Representatives will never be tried and removed from office by a Democrat Senate. Nobody, no how, ever. Ever. Hey, get your questions down below. You guys get the second half of the show. I'm taking the first half with my monologue to go over some of the big SHTF news stories of the day. We are engaged in a psychological war. We are engaged in a social, a cultural, and a tradition war. It's a war against all things American. And I couldn't fucking believe this when I heard it. In Indiana, folks, a mother and father, a mom and dad, a man and woman who are married. Take that, you woke tards, you snowflakes out there. This Indiana couple has to go to the Supreme Court because they lost custody because they refused to use their transgender son's preferred pronouns. Are you fucking kidding me? So they have a child who has a mental disease, a mental disorder. It is called gender dysphoria. This disorder, which is psychological in nature, has most likely been promoted and preyed on by pro-trans, fruitcake, fruit salad sucking scumbags in their school. And now the son is so brainwashed, so mesmerized and enthralled by his newfound vagina, which he doesn't have. He's so enamored with the idea of screwing over other people because of his beliefs that he has now been yanked out of his own home. Folks, this is insanity in the United States of America, in our heartland. Indiana is going to steal people's children when you do not accept their mental illness and call them by their preferred pronouns. Well, I can't fucking wait to meet these people on the street. Where are they hiding? Where the fuck are they hiding? I can't wait. Go ahead and try and correct me on pronouns. I'll put you right in the pronoun gutter. Fuck, I've had it with these people. Fuck the woke and fuck the liberal scum, folks. This is what they're doing to children. This is the war I talked about with the guy I met, Paul. That's the name I used to describe him the other day. One of the brand new Prepared Mind subscribers. And we get more all the time. Meanwhile, YouTube is continuing to unsubscribe people. So, folks, it's not your fault. If you get unsubscribed, you didn't do it. I didn't do it. YouTube did it for you. And this is why we have to share the internet address and say, go to this channel, subscribe. Give people instructions the same way I do here. I say, hey, if you're watching this, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Be on the lookout. Binge watch the videos. Right? Just put the TV on and play that shit all day long if you got a smart TV. Right? Get learned, get woked, and not the other kind of woke, not the rainbow woke. Get red pill woke. All right, fucking Indiana. Transgender son's preferred pronouns. You know what his fucking pronoun would be if he was mine? Your ass is grass. You fucking had it. I would go into his closet and take all the girl clothes out of the fucking closet, put them in a garbage can, and burn it. And say, here's some briefs. They're called underwear, not panties. Here's some socks. These are called jeans. This is a t-shirt. This is what boys wear. And no more fucking makeup for you. Just unbelievable. Right? So the little bitch runs to the government and they're like, yeah, we'll take you. We'll take you. Come on. Come with us. Don't make us tell you 500 fucking times in a row. Get over here. We're the state. And then they take you and put you in a foster home where you're going to be sexually and ritually abused by serial professional child molesters. Enjoy that. Now, speaking of kids and tragedy, I want you to take a wild fucking guess. Alrighty, folks, there was a fishing tournament weigh-in. That's right, the fishing tournament. So strenuous, so difficult fishing tournaments. You get on your bass boat, you rip across the Everglades or the bayou or the pond or whatever the fuck you want to call it that you got. And you cast, reel, hard work. I drink a soda. And then you take all the fish you caught and you put them in the cooler. You race back across the water and do a weigh-in. Well, that cost someone their life, folks. And I want you to take a wild guess as to why this person is now dead. And I don't think it's funny at all. It's a fucking tragedy because this is a 17-year-old high school student who collapsed, not from running a marathon, not from taking too many drugs. I'm going to let you take a wild fucking guess why a 17-year-old was fishing in a tournament, collapsed during the fish weigh-in portion of the tournament, was taken to a hospital where he died. It is very upsetting, folks, that this keeps happening. And it is not going to stop. It is not. Nope. Now, while we're in the Pfizer files, well, that was take a wild guess. Well, let's do some more. More Pfizer files. Here we are. Chef down in Portland, Oregon. Lauro Romero, a famous chef, has died peacefully in his sleep. He was 42 years old. No cause given, no apparent cause of death. Well, I can take a wild guess. Portland, liberals. Portland, Democrats. Portland chef, you want people in your restaurant and you don't want your restaurant picketed and burned to the fucking ground, then you better be a Democrat. And everyone knows the good Democrats, they got their Jim Jones juice. Age 42. Lauro Romero, dead. Chef down. Thank you, Darcy T, for that one. Oh, I love how they say passed peacefully. I don't think so. How do they know? He was in his fucking sleep. He could have had the most painful heart attack ever that was paralyzingly paralyzing. And he just laid there in extended, huge pain. Who knows to tell us that? It has passed peacefully. He's fucking dead. Hopefully it was peaceful and hopefully it was painless. Oh, that's a nice way to go. I just don't think that's the way he went. Not when you have a big, massive fucking coronary and your heart explodes. All right. I don't know if that's what happened. Just speculating. Just taking a wild fucking guess. Kind of like this. We've all heard of the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Has nothing to do with fruit salad butt pirates. The Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Well, I want you to take a wild freaking Pfizer guess at this fucker. He died suddenly. A musician from the Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Age 49. They won't disclose the cause of death. Geez, I bet it was a fucking heart attack. How much you want to bet? Any takers? Anyone? Bueller? Anyone? No one's going to take that bets. No one. Nobody. Fucking unbelievable, folks. So, World War. The whole world is at war. Right? Hungary told the U.S. to go fuck yourself. That's fucking great. We got Canadian pussies going, yeah, I'm going to call you names. As long as I don't call you too bad of names. Right? You don't want to call them too bad of names and get in trouble for a hate crime in Canada. Right down here, you lose your kid. You know, what did I cover? I covered the Montana couple Oh, shit. I'm going to get to that. Fuck. There's too much to get to. Folks, yeah. Male student, transgender, injures 3 girls during a basketball game. We talked about that. Unbelievable what's going on. And we think it's cute. They do. They think it's fucking cute. They do. We just talked about the Indiana couple that lost their child because they refused to call his little psycho mental disease ass. It's a mental disease, folks. Unfortunately, sadly, that's what it is. Right? They lost him. Well, in Montana, do you remember that family that lost their child because they wouldn't give him gender-affirming care, which means go cut his nutsack off? In fact, that one, I believe it was a girl who wants to be a boy. Yeah, that does not fucking work that way. It doesn't happen that way. The best you can hope for is you get a bunch of testosterone in you. You become a violent, raging asshole like the trans freak that killed the Christian kids and Christian people at the school in Louisville. Right? And if you're really lucky, you'll get big, strong muscles and snap your little twiggy bones because you still have a girl frame. Just fucking stupid. Okay, so let us continue. Yeah, that Montana family that lost their daughter. The state stole the child. And then both the governor and the attorney general, right, the Montana Department of Justice, decided they were going to go and press charges against the family. Well, the Montana state attorney, whoever the fuck that is, decided to drop the case against the Kolstad family because of public rage and media interest. In other words, their crimes they were committing got exposed to the light of day. Light, good, decent, honest, pure. Right? We've got to shed light on all this. This is what I do every day with you guys. We're shedding light on what's happening instead of sitting in the dark like a bunch of fucking mushrooms eating the shit they feed us from TV. That's what mushrooms do. They live in the dark and they eat shit. And they grow about that much. That's all they'll ever be. They're a fucking little mushroom eating shit. I am not a mushroom and I don't eat shit. So, yeah. Put sunlight on everything. That's why we share every video all the time. Tirelessly promoting the idea of free speech. I tell you, folks, how much crazier is it going to get? How much crazier? Okay, what kind of time I got enough time. I got to stay on this. I was telling Uman before the show. I got really pissed with this article. I can't remember who sent it to me. I think it was Orlando. You know, the Confederacy, folks. Is the Confederacy no more? Of course not. It's not. The Confederacy was defeated back in the 1860s. 1860s. Well, the Senate, folks, wants to pass a bill to strip the United Daughters of the Confederacy and other Confederate organizations out of their tax breaks. It's funny to me that Satanists and their church get tax-exempt status. There's Satanists, and they get to claim tax-exempt status. But those awful Southerners, want to remember history. And so they have an organization to remember the Confederacy, what it was about, the facts of the time. The facts at the time, right? Back in the 1860s. Well, you know, those awful Southerners, why, 170 years ago, they had slaves, so the Confederacy is evil. They owned slaves and took care of their slaves, right? Well, 170 seconds ago, another descendant of American slaves was killed before being born by Democrats in an abortion that both Democrats and Satanists call a right. Satanists are good, Confederacy bad. Satanists good, Confederacy bad. Democrats good, dead babies good. Confederacy is evil. Folks, interesting. The word rights, the rights of men are not the same as a satanic murder rite or ritual. Yet right and right sound the same, but one is freedom, capital R-I-G-H-T, and the other is satanic, right? A satanic rite, R-I-T-E. I wonder if Democrats think when they say abortion is a right, they don't mean R-I-G-H-T, because there is no abortion right anywhere in history, anywhere in law. It's a manufactured privilege that was revoked when Roe v. Wade was overturned, right? I wonder if they think the right they're talking about is actually spelled R-I-T-E. It's our right as Democrats to kill babies. It's our satanic right we perform, our satanic ritual. These people are sick, folks. I tell you what, fucking had it with them. You're not allowed to. What about Civil War reenactments? Civil War reenactment. Is it just supposed to be the Northern soldiers on a field of battle pretending to fight invisible Confederates? Yeah. Chin Music has decided to check in through email and let me know what they call Californians in Texas. He says they call them Commifornians, granola eating dirt fuckers. Thanks, man. Oh, that settles that. That settles that. Wow. I want to tell you about the climate tyrants, folks. The climate tyrants. You know, Al Gore, Gretchen the Grinch, and every left-wing fool. Well, they got bad news this week, folks. The finance giants of Wall Street have decided to pull out of the climate agreements. Why? Why have they pulled the utopian funding of the climate scam? Because, folks, the financial giants have accepted and are now stating that the green agenda is both unsustainable and counterproductive, meaning it destroys productivity and it cannot be sustained. That means it's garbage, it's junk, it's no good. And they threw it the fuck out. And the Al Gore tears. Can you imagine little Gretchen? How dare you stop giving me money? I believe little Gretchen is a multimillionaire. I think that that's been revealed. Why doesn't she spend all of her hard-earned money that she's had to suck out of donors? Why doesn't she go and open a carbon scrubbing factory? Right? She can get a bunch of filters and start scrubbing the carbon out of the air and cleaning that air up if she cares so much. Why doesn't she line up like 50 fucking super duper carbon filters and have a fan blow air through it so that she can breathe fresh, purified air? Good God. These idiots in the left, folks, they're there. They're absolutely fucking idiotic. They are. Now, before we get to you guys, one more. An illegal alien stole a state-owned tow truck, folks, and went on an hour-long chase. High speed, low speed, whatever speed, slamming into cars. 2 officers, 2 cops, folks, were injured, hospitalized. The suspect, that is to say, the asshole who stole the truck, the illegal alien, the criminal alien, stole the truck. He's hospitalized as well. Folks, that didn't take long, did it? I want you to think about this before we go over to you guys in the inner circle. Think about this. Biden wanted money for Ukraine. The United States House of Representatives said, we want the border fixed. Biden was told, you're not going to get money for Ukraine. You do your job on the border. Biden said he wouldn't do anything about the border. Fuck the border unless you give me money for Ukraine. So Biden's threat ended up getting $0. So now, all of a sudden, When they don't get their way, we have cops assaulted in New York City, beaten by illegals. Illegals have been ransacking stores, stealing, looting. Illegals are involved in shootings now, murders. Illegals, that is illegal aliens, are committing all manner of crime in greater and greater numbers now. And now an illegal alien steals a state-owned truck and ends up hurting others and injuring police and hospitalizing them. Here's my big question. How does one steal a state truck from a state yard where keys are only issued to state employee drivers? Just a question. All this illegal criminal action sounds like the illegal handlers have just said, okay, guys, start acting like assholes. Do whatever the hell you did in other countries. Just do it now in America. Don't worry. You won't be thrown in jail for very long. You'll get out. In fact, they'll probably pay you money to do this stuff. That's how fucked up these Democrats are, folks. That's how awful they are. Ooman says you got to pass some common sense illegal control or maybe ban assault illegals. Oh, you bet. Those illegal control and assault illegals, those aren't even in the Second Amendment. Woo! Here we are, assault illegals. That's exactly what they are. They're an assault on our nation, our senses, our rights, RIGHTS, our liberties, and our country. They are parasitic vampires sucking the life out of this country. Unbelievable. All right, well, it's now your turn to talk. What do you want to talk about here on the Prepared Mind channel? And hey, it's Michael Smith. HS says from the club, John, do you have a big, ugly mug like me? Wait, let me try this again. John, you do have a big, ugly mug like me. If you're ever in South Carolina, call me up if you want. We'll have a drink and a smoke. Long-time watcher of your videos. Keep up the good work, brother. Thank you very much. It's tough having a big, ugly mug. I tell you what, I still, folks, want to do a Prepared Mind tour. Now, unlike a few years ago, I now have to have a fucking job. I'm out there beating the fucking bushes to death to make a living in 12, 14, and up to 16 hours a day of work, a variety of work. It'll kill you. But yeah, South Carolina, shit, last time I was there was a Marine Corps graduation ceremony. Anyways, I would love to get out more. I think the country's going to get really nasty, though. So my recommendation is if you got a big, ugly, recognizable mug, just watch your back. All right, thank you. And Mr. Uman, where do we roll next? We've got Roy the Crypto Boy, and he says, the judge in the Julian Assange extradition case mentioned the information was released before WikiLeaks release. The prosecution was asked why no one else was charged. Thoughts? Well, I'll tell you what. How is anyone to know that information that we're provided, whether in-person paperwork or electronically through the internet, is real, is legitimate, is valid information? You could get a piece of paper, it looks official. It could be a bunch of lies, fake shit, right? Fake. You could get something that says classified and you're like, hey, how do you know it's real? How? How could you? Well, it's got big fancy words in it. I don't know how a private citizen, a private person can be held responsible if they obtain and then distribute information the government says is a secret. And okay, so let's make the national security argument, because that's very important here. Is it my job to maintain national security? If the answer is yes, where's my fucking paycheck? No, it is not my job. Is it my duty to maintain national security? No, it's not my duty to maintain the secrets of the United States government. It isn't. It's not my duty. It's not my job. Now, if I were to find, let's just say, an attaché case, a briefcase, and I opened it and there were documents in there that said secret, classified, top secret, I would more than likely close the case and turn it into the police. That would be my first thought. My second thought would be to close the case, take it, and read the documents. See if they're what I consider to be real. See if they're valuable. See if they're worth being whistleblower documents. Well, if I went that route instead of the close the case and turn it in, I think I would be within my rights. This information could be very dangerous if allowed to fall into the wrong hands. If it's fake, it could fool the news media into misleading the public. Right? Weren't we told that misinformation, disinformation is harmful to the country? So I wouldn't want disinformation and misinformation to get out there. I would need to examine those documents. I wouldn't want to turn in a bunch of misinformation and disinformation to the police and then have the media get all scared because someone did that. So maybe I should look at them myself. You know, it's ridiculous to go Julian Assange or anyone else. You know, you've got papers. If the fucking government says they're so secret and so valuable, maintaining national security is top priority, then how did they escape in the first place? Shouldn't they be under the most locked and secure electronic and paper surveillance system ever? The United States government doesn't have that kind of money to put things actually in a cyber vault. Well, if national security was such a big fucking deal, why didn't they arrest and charge Hillary Clinton with failure and violation of federal laws regarding sensitive and secure information? Why isn't right now President Biden being impeached, tried, convicted, tossed out of office, and then arrested for treason for all he's done, plus the classified, top secret, sensitive, eyes-only documents that he kept behind his fucking Corvette in his home garage? That's fine, but, you know, Julian Assange, we can't have that. No. Yeah, why wasn't anyone else charged? Because it's bullshit. This is about taking one person they believe is an enemy and pinning all they can on him. Julian Assange's life was ruined because he allowed himself to be arrested. He did. He could have done a little better job, don't you think? But still, once you're arrested, you're done. He's been owned by the government since Trump was president, like when Trump first went in. When did that son of a bitch get arrested anyway, Julian Assange? It's like 8 fucking years ago, 9 years ago. He's been locked up. His life is done. He's owned by the government. He is a piece of meat that the government owns because the government wants. Yeah, why was no one else charged? How can you be right? It's just, this whole secrecy thing is bullshit. National security is bullshit. It's all a fucking lie. It's about power and control. All right, enough on that. It's a great topic, Roy, the crypto boy. Let's see what else comes up from this in the next few days. I'm sure Julian Assange is going to slip on a banana peel, crash on his tricycle down a staircase, and choke on a fucking hot dog and die any minute now. Any minute now. It's going to happen. All right, Mr. Ooman, where are we at today? Let's see. I'm checking down here, checking in at the old phone-a-roo. I tell you, Ooman says, hey, unfortunately, I'm surprised it didn't start with, hey, It appears that the New York City trucker boycott has fallen flat on its face, as I feared it would. Several others have said there are too many waiting in line to take a load rejected by others. There it is. You take your morality and you set it aside. You take your human decency and you set it aside. You take your political might, muster, and belief system and you set it aside. You take your moral basis, your fiber, your inner being, and you set it aside for a few lousy fucking dollars that are being devalued by 10% a year by the government. Yep. Unfortunately, you were correct, man. I was hoping you would be wrong on this one. It has fallen flat on its face. There are too many people who are not patriotic Americans, who are from other countries, who are here driving trucks with their licenses. They're trying to make a living, trying to live the American dream, don't give a fuck about politics, don't care, don't know, don't understand, and won't take a stand even if they did. This is what we got, folks. This is what we get. This is what we get. But, it was a valiant effort. Let's see what else happens. I'm still boycotting New York. I'm still boycotting Dick's Sporting Goods. I'm still boycotting all Democrats. I'm boycotting Kohl's. I'm boycotting Target. I'm boycotting Coca-Cola. I'm boycotting Nike. I'm boycotting every fucking company that's woke. Disney, ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. Fuck them all. Fox as well. All right. Keep boycotting, folks. Just withhold your money. Only spend your money with people you know, trust, or love. Thank you, Mr. Human. Who is up next? We've got Cyber Hana. She says, damn, it's one thing after another. That's a statement that is true on a daily basis. She says, we need to be as organized in our efforts like they do. What I want to know, Cyber Hana, is who is they that you're referring to? Are you referring to the bots on Twitter that like to answer questions and start arguments? Is they the left-wing LGBTQIP fucks? Is they the communists? Is they the fascists? Or is it just in period everywhere? There's a lot of organization out there, folks. It's also supported with a lot of money. Now, I guess if I was making $1 billion a year and all I had to do was spend 50, 60, 70 million to make the next billion come in, you might call me a financial genius. Well, that's what these rich fuckers are doing. They make $1 billion a year. So they throw a bunch of money out to Democrats to make sure they're going to get $1 billion next year. And then they're like, well, shit, I'm going to keep making billions. I would like to convert America from a free union of independent and sovereign states into a shithole federation of socialist states, the USSA. Yeah, why not? George Soros is just one example, probably the most famous, of a multi-billionaire who throws his money around to change the politics of America to fuck us up. Oh, yeah, don't forget about Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates and Zark Zuckerberg. What a little turd. I don't like any of them. And that's just a few of them. The ones that we know, folks, there are billionaires and, dare I say, trillionaires out there that you'll never hear their name spoken. They are the silent puppet masters, and they are there. I want to remind everyone that during the conquistador times, 500 years ago, 400 years ago, 300 years ago, ships would sail from Europe with horses and soldiers. The horses and soldiers would get off the ships. They would go into, South America, Central America, the East Coast, the West Coast, into the jungle, inland, into the mountains. They would find native tribes, and they would rob them of all of their gold, artifacts, and silver. They would take them back to the ships and literally fill ships full of gold, full of silver, and ship them back by the hundreds and hundreds to Europe. And whoever owned that ship, whoever commissioned that ship, they took all that wealth for themselves. I'm sure the kings and queens of Europe weren't the only ones funding expeditions. And that gold and that silver is still in Europe, folks. It's still owned, and those people are immensely wealthy with the amount of gold and silver they got. Let's just leave it at that. Mr. Uman, where are we going next? You got name redacted. He says, hey, Johnny, how about these governors now talking so big in press conferences about the border, drugs, and yes, families. Now they're going to roll up their sleeves. Who the fuck believes or is fooled by this? Well, you see, it is election time. Election time. I don't believe it. I think 95 to 99% of it is all for the camera, publicity stunt, photo op, plastic banana good time bullshit that these politicians are throwing up. Every 4 years, 6 if you're a senator, 2 if you're a congressman, you go out to the public and you start lying as convincingly as possible to tell them that you're going to fix all the problems that you, the politician, created, or you're going to replace that other politician who created the problems. Yeah, I'm going to go there and fix all that shit. They get in office and they're like, hey, I just got a miniature boat full of gold and silver. Look at that shit. I'm rich now. Fuck the people. That's what it's like. That's what it's like. Now, I hope, Mr. Redacted, I hope and pray that these politicians have seen enough and realized that woke is anti-American, that gay is anti-American, that big government is anti-American, that big corporations and big banks anti-American. They are unpatriotic and they're destroying our country, and it's going to take them down with it. Does Hillary Clinton really think she's not going to be assassinated by Hamas or Hezbollah or some pro-Palestinian turd? Does the mayor of New York City, the governor of New York, the governor of Michigan, talk about governators? These people are lying, filthy, fetid, disgusting, debased vampires. And they're going to get what they deserve. Let us move on if we shall. Thank you. Yeah, these politicians not buying it. Not buying it. Okay. Barking Wolf Spider says, can't rewrite history if the old story is still known. When the Liberty Tree is watered with too much patriotic vital fluid, the strangler vine of communism grows. When the Liberty Tree is gone too long without being watered by the blood of patriots and saints, as well as the blood of vile tyrants, then yeah, government becomes more powerful. It becomes more evil. Isn't this interesting? Let me bring this one point up based off of this. Isn't it interesting? The more powerful a government becomes, the actions and decisions it takes are more evil. A benevolent dictator would say, I'm a benevolent dictator. Hire me. Elect me, and I'll be a great dictator. I'll fix the food issue. I'll fix the water. I'll make the air clean. I won't take as much taxes. I'll stop the police from this, right? This is this benevolent dictator that we're supposed to believe in. Then they get into the office and they're like, you know what? Fuck everything. Everyone's going to get locked down, COVID style. Everyone is going to pay double the taxes, and we're going to suffer quadruple the inflation. And I don't care because I'm a politician, right? So when you take someone like a benevolent dictator and you give them all the power of government that's held by one person, you see how evil that person can become. Under Hitler, Stalin, and Mao of China, 100 million people were murdered. The more power government has, the more evil it does. That is why evil needs to be killed. Evil needs to be removed and slaughtered. Evil is evil. There is no good evil or sufferable evil. No, evil is bad. Now, here's the kick. Before you go off and do something silly about evil, who defines what is evil? Where is evil defined? How can we know the difference between good and evil? Well, you can know evil by its fruit. Well, yeah, evil begets more evil. But what if you think that that's good? Well, there's got to be a basis for good, right? How do you judge something good or bad? It's a tad tricky, I think. Right? We use the Bible. It's got the golden rule. It's got the 10 Commandments. But the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's not a bad rule to live by. That kind of establishes good and bad. I don't like it when someone steals my shit. So stealing is bad. What does the government do every fucking day of the year? It steals our money and calls it taxes and says it's your duty to pay as much as we demand. Federal, state, local sales, death tax. They even tax the dead. Thou shalt not steal. Let's see, what else? Do unto others, as you would have them do unto you. Okay, I don't want anyone stabbing me. I don't want anyone stealing my shit. I don't want anyone, hurting me. But that's exactly what these left-wing people do. They're hurting everyone they can. It's easy to see evil, folks. It's not hard. You can see them by their fruit. Right? Let's see. Oh, yeah. Drag queen story hour with children. Evil. There is no good that can come of that. The fruitcake freak, no good for that person, because they're going to be, oh, well, everyone seems to like me. I guess I'm normal. No, you're not. No, you're a drag queen. Admit it. That's what you are. You're not a good person. Live with yourself until you're ready to move on and grow up. If you want to be a decadent sexual freak, that's your choice. But it's not good. And certainly on the child side, what does that teach children? Like, that fucking lady has a mustache and huge hair, lots of makeup, and is a disgusting pig. I mean, right? I mean, what's a child to think? That this is a good scenario, right? Everyone going, yay, this is just fucking great. I love seeing fruitcakes and children mixed. Yet the state stealing children from adults, from parents, because they won't accessorize the child's wardrobe, give them the right drugs, and acknowledge their mental illness and continue to encourage it and pay for it. I'll tell you what, folks. Wow. All right, Mr. Uman, we're at 55 minutes in the show. Where are we going to go next? We got James Nicholson. He says, good evening, John. Just an FYI. In 2021, I believe there was $7.5 billion budgeted for EV charging stations. I wonder where the money went, as not one station was built. Your thoughts? Well, apparently there's one room somewhere in Washington, D.C. stacked from the floor to the ceiling with $100 bills, precisely $7.5 billion. Yeah, they earmarked it, they slated it, they budgeted it, right? They budgeted it, but they never spent it. But what is $7.5 billion compared to the, $20 trillion economy? They don't really believe in their EV story, James. The EV story is one that they don't care about. They just want to destroy America. They want you to feel guilty. What they care about more than the EV stations is they want you to pay a carbon tax. I mean, if you look at the cost of a gallon of gas, depending on what state you're in, you'll pay a state gas tax as well as a federal gas tax in every state. Why does the federal government get to charge a federal tax on gasoline? It is not a sin to have gasoline. It's not alcohol. It's not tobacco. Why is the government regulating it? It's not transported through the air to the gas stations. Oh, it comes across the border of states. So when it goes from one state to another, the federal government has a right to tax it. Actually, they don't. This long-arm statute shit needs to end. This international commerce or national commerce clause, interstate commerce clause, there we go, needs to end. They don't give a fuck, James, about EVs. They have an agenda. That's all this is about. And they want to enrich themselves. That's all this is about. They want to take away your right to travel, your ease of travel. Folks, the fucking bankers are like, no more. We can't do any more of this green shit. It's unsustainable. You got fucking wings falling off of airplanes. Did you guys catch that? Did you catch that? A flight heading to Boston had to make an emergency landing because the fucking wing was falling apart in midair. You feel safe out there? I say only fly on older jets. The new ones are fucking death traps. They're built in other countries by fucking people without degrees or any understanding of anything. They just think, well, they just said, just point the gun here and just start shooting shit together. I mean, this is crazy. Boeing, folks, Boeing. The head dipshit in charge of Boeing 737 MAX. Not the CEO of Boeing. He's not going to quit. He makes way too much money. He's not going to quit. But the head of the 737 MAX department has been fired because of the mid-air blowout and other safety concerns. Let's hear it for outsourcing our most important jobs. Skilled technicians and builders of aircraft. Way to give everything to other countries, including the computerized landing systems. I think every fucking Boeing out there, probably Airbus as well. I bet every one of them, it takes 50 different countries to get all the parts together to put these things into the air. Does that sound like a good system to have? Well, John, it's an international effort, and it shows that the whole world is participating in our culture and our advancement in science and understanding of the universe, and I'm just sick of these fucking people and that shit. Russian jets and Russian planes are made in Russia with Russian parts. American jets should be made in America with American aluminum, American metals, American engines, and American parts, and built by trained, qualified Americans. I'm sick of this international shit. It's proving itself. It's proving itself to be environmental, socially governing, diversity, equity, and inclusion. Stupid. But that's just my opinion. Hey, you don't have to share my opinion. Take all your preps, sell them. Or you might be like, hey, wait a minute there, John. You got a little too far, pal. I like my food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and my plan, because I, too, can see what's going on out there. It's a fucking mess. Godspeed. Semper Fi. I'll see you, Zero Dark 30, but not before we get to Heidi, who says this. Yesterday, I got a letter from the Democrat National Committee here in Minnesota for the presidential caucus. It mentions that eggs will be available to buy for them to gift to their MAGA neighbors. Oh, how interesting is that? The Democrat National Committee will hand out organic eggs to throw at your Republican neighbors' houses. She says, I thought it was a joke at first, but it's for real. So I think all 12 people that show up to see Biden are going to get eggs for them to gift to their Make America Great Again neighbors. Do it. Fucking try me. Do it. Start a fucking war. You never bring eggs to a gunfight. That's it. Fucking ding dongs. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Zero dark.